and I have no cases pending. And unlike Lt Gen Khumalo, I'm not on bail. I'm a free man. He is currently out on bail. He's trying to run a narrative, and he's trying to paint a picture that doesn't actually add up. Today what you saw was General Khumalo trying to cover his tracks by tarnishing my integrity before I spoke at the ad hoc committee or before I spoke at the Madlanga committee. I only fit in recently in borrowing the vehicle once the protectors and the vehicles were removed. I know nothing of what took place last year. I don't even know the Sergeant Nkosi. I think I've seen that BMW driven once or twice. And every camera footage that was displayed today did not have me inside that vehicle. I was not a part of that convoy. I am not a part of Shadrack Sibiya's security detail. I am not a member of SAPS. And General Khumalo is well aware of that fact. General Khumalo has done this on more than one occasion, and I feel he's trying to cover his tracks because he's currently
What tracks
charged.
is he trying to cover?
The fact that he's been criminally charged and is currently appearing in court for the crimes he's committed. And if you are leaning on the fact that a person's been found guilty and he should be immediately arrested, I think you can also then ask the question about Julius Malema. I think you can ask the same question about Gauteng Mackenzie, Kenny Kunene, and the list goes on. I must put on record to the nation, I'm not a syndicate member. I'm not part of the Big Five cartel. I don't know any of these members that have been mentioned. Let's just say a lot of people are being protected by members who portray themselves as saviors to the nation currently.
And who are these members?
Who will see as it unfolds. Yusuf, and you know, I'm coming out on air transparently saying General Khumalo knows me, he has my number, he's known me for a number of years. He didn't identify me only via CCTV footage and on seeing me on TV with the ad hoc committee. If there's anything that they need from me, I will gladly hand myself over. I will gladly hand my devices over, because we know that that's their modus operandi, to send the task force, the National Intervention Unit, as well as crime intelligence, like what we saw for General
And if you're dealing with General...
I don't know any of these people. I don't know what they're talking about. I was never there. I didn't see anything. I'm here to speak about the allegations made against me by General Khumalo, which were extremely misleading to the Commission.
In the heart of South Africa's ongoing battle against corruption and organized crime within its law enforcement ranks, the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry stands as a pivotal investigation. Established to probe allegations of political interference, leaked intelligence, and ties to criminal cartels in the South African Police Service, the Commission has exposed deep rifts among high-ranking officials. At the center of recent revelations is Lt Gen Shadrack Sibiya, former head of the Gauteng Hawks, accused by KwaZulu-Natal Police Commissioner Lt Gen Nalala Mkhwanazi of protecting suspects and undermining operations. On November 4, 2025, National Crime Intelligence Head Lt Gen Dumisani Khumalo testified, naming Stuart James Scharnick, often referred to as Mr. James, as Sibiya's alleged personal protector. Khumalo highlighted Scharnick's criminal history, including 34 cases with 18 guilty verdicts, and linked him to a Toyota Hilux vehicle spotted during a raid on Sibiya's residence. These claims paint a picture of entangled alliances that could compromise national security. But what is Scharnick's side of the story? In this exclusive interview, Scharnick steps forward to address the accusations head-on. Join us as we present the full, unedited conversation, shedding light on the complexities of this unfolding saga.
Stuart, thank you very much for coming to Hyde Park to chat to us. Obviously, quite a lot said about you, including Sergeant Fani, who was also the one who was given the car of Mr. Sibiya. We understand that he was the one who was driving the white BMW, but we're also told that your bakkie is the one that was being used by Mr. Sibiya. But before we get into that, let's touch on what Khumalo told the commissioners. He says that you have a total of 34 cases. You were found guilty on 18 of them. 11 were withdrawn, and 5 was not guilty. What do you make of this?
Maybe Pule, before he answers, maybe we must swear him in to tell the truth, nothing but the truth, because I'm sure that you're going to be going to the commission and the ad hoc committee, but I'm sure you're going to give us true and honest answers.
So you're under oath, yeah.
Let's hope we get that opportunity to actually clarify my name. So yes, my name is Stuart Scharnick, and I have been convicted, and my convictions run from 2010 and 2011. And it's not 18 separate cases, it's 18 counts in one case. I was sentenced to a 5-year suspended sentence, and there was a portion of money which I paid. As you speak to me today, I'm a free man. My suspended sentence has lapsed, it's now concluded, and the monies have been paid back. The cases that were withdrawn were part of the agreement that was done with the state, and 5 cases were found not guilty or separate incidents. There was an extra case that General Khumalo spoke about, and that was out in the northwest, and that had been subsequently withdrawn. And I have no cases pending. And unlike Lt Gen Khumalo, I'm not on bail. I'm a free man. He is currently out on bail.
Do you know Lt Gen Dumisani Khumalo personally?
I know him very well, and that's why I was surprised when he spoke, saying that I'm not a member of SAPS. He knows I'm not a member of SAPS. I've never been a member of SAPS. I've never portrayed to be a member of SAPS. He also knows that I'm not Lieutenant General Sibiya's personal bodyguard. I've never been a bodyguard. But let me make this clear and put this on record for the viewers at home. I met Lieutenant General Dumisani Khumalo in Lieutenant General Shadrack Sibiya's office. So he's well aware that he knows my proximity to Lieutenant General Sibiya, and he knows exactly who I am. So the fact that he'd mislead the commission today simply shows us that he's trying to run a narrative, and he's trying to paint a picture that doesn't actually add up.
So, before I bring in Yusuf, I just want to speak to what we heard from Lieutenant General Dumisani Khumalo. Are you then saying he lied under oath and all he said today was not the truth and that he misled the commission, like you're saying right now? Are you saying all of what we heard from him regarding the total of the 34 cases and 18 of them being said that you were found guilty of, are you saying that that was a lie?
In fact, the way in which he represented it is incorrect. It's 18 counts in one case. It's not 18 separate cases, hence the suspended sentence and a fine. And all of them are coming back from more than a decade and a half ago. That's why I was surprised when he raised the issue to say, how could a convicted person enter into Parliament, whereas we have a minister in Parliament who has also been convicted. He served his time and now he's free. In South Africa, once you've done your time for your crime, you are then free.
Yusuf, let me bring you in, and maybe perhaps you can ask Mr. Stuart some questions as well.
Stuart, I want to come back to some of the issues you've raised. Who is Stuart? Where are you from? What's your background?
So my name is Stuart Scharnick, and I'm from an area called Richards Bay in KZN.
Where you committed some crimes as well?
Not really, Yusuf. They were more in the Durban area. Yeah, so
but you were charged for some hijackings in Richards Bay?
No, I was not. Those cases pertained to the Durban area. And in that case, just to clarify things, we had purchased vehicles, a batch of vehicles, and we didn't do our due diligence in checking the origin of the vehicles. And some of the vehicles had hijacked parts, and other vehicles had come from dubious characters, which we were supposed to check. I wasn't the only person charged. There were a number of police officers charged as well that had issued police clearances before we had purchased and sold the vehicles. I run a construction company, and I've been running a construction company since 2005.
Is the company still running?
The company is still running as we speak.
Were you politically active in the area of Richards Bay?
I have been politically active
for which organization?
In Richards Bay, for various organizations.
You can name them?
More as a civil activist rather than a political activist.
Doing what?
In Richards Bay, particularly in 2017, 18 and 19, there was a spike in mass murders in our area. We had an incident where a family was assassinated in the night, a Muslim family. They murdered the father, the son, the neighbor, and the mother was shot. There was a secondary incident where there was a triple murder at 4 o'clock in the afternoon at the mall. And the last one was 5 people gunned down at 10 o'clock in the morning, 200 meters from the crime intelligence officers.
So were you involved with the security industry?
Not at all. I was simply a businessman in the area that had raised concerns about the killings with impunity. And that's what brought me to Pretoria to raise the matter nationally, because locally we had failed to deal with the killers who are continuously killing in the same area.
Let's get to the crux of the matter. How long and when did you first meet General Shadrack Sibiya?
I met General Sibiya in 2001, 2002.
Where and how?
Pertaining to these cases that we had brought, the murder cases that we had brought to national. And in fact, I was trying to see General Fanny Masimula. However, you have to submit your documents to the PAs before they arrange a meeting at national. Their numbers are on the SAPS website. Any commander that's nationally based has his information, which I simply then submitted my documents to, and a meeting was arranged. When the meeting was arranged, I think amongst management they found that General Shadrack Sibiya was the most relevant person for me to meet pertaining to the murders in the area. He then called in Lt Gen Khumalo, who was spearheading the PKTT at that time in the same area. Hence, I met General Khumalo as the head of the PKTT in KZN, where a number of murders that the PKTT then investigated, I have a lot of knowledge on.
Do you think that you're in the firing line due to your proximity to Sibiya?
100%. Today, what you saw was General Khumalo trying to cover his tracks by tarnishing my integrity before I spoke at the ad hoc committee or before I spoke at the Madlanga Committee. What he miscalculated on was the fact that I am not a member of SAPS, nor am I a member of Parliament, meaning I can speak to the media freely as a citizen of South Africa.
So then what are you to Shadrack Sibiya then?
Shadrack Sibiya was the person whom we reported the murders to from the national head office.
Why did you not go to a local police station? Why do you have to go all the way to Sibiya?
Because in the local police station we had more than 150 cold murder cases. The murders were taking place in the proximity of a 2-kilometer radius from the police station, meaning clearly they were either working with the criminal syndicates or they simply didn't have the resources to assist us.
In which area?
Richards Bay.
Okay.
So you have this, you meet General Sibiya for the first time. In which year you said?
2021, 2022.
And you then become friends, do you?
No, we're acquaintances where we know
You're not comrades?
We're not comrades, we're not friends.
So what is acquaintances? Describe the word acquaintances. How did you establish this relationship with General Shadrack Sibiya?
So once you start working, or let's just say you're assisting in terms of an investigation, for what we know, whatever leads we find out from the community policing forums in the area, particularly around the family that was murdered, we would then send the information to one information source, which would be General Sibiya, because we explained to him that along the way information was getting lost, but furthermore, people who gave information were being assassinated. So it was safer to send the information directly to General Sibiya, as he was aware of the ongoing issues that were taking place.
So fast forward, you now escort him in your vehicle, you driving around Gauteng with him. For how long has this been happening, Stuart?
So that's not true, Yusuf. And once again, that's General Khumalo misleading the public. Once I had given him the keys, and in fact, I'll just take you 2 steps back. There was an announcement that was made whereby General Sibiya's close protection was taken away, the vehicles were taken away, as well as the state firearms.
Now a few weeks ago, when he was suspended.
When he was suspended, and it was publicly issued. It was a public statement issued. Because I am aware of the PKTT's modus operandi, particularly the generals that we are speaking about, I then said to him, for your family's safety, I have an extra vehicle. You may utilize this vehicle in the interim.
As an acquaintance? You just gave him a vehicle.
In fact, over the 3-year period, we didn't just become acquaintances.
Yeah.
If you can recall in Ntlanhla Mkhwanazi, General Ntlanhla Mkhwanazi's evidence at the Madlanga Commission, he spoke about national and the presidency intervening in the Richards Bay murders. Can you remember that? And that intervention came from General Shadrack Sibiya. He assisted us more than once in cleaning up those issues that had taken place.
But
So
hang on,
tell me
Stuart,
something
you
here,
said
Stuart.
the protectors were withdrawn, but he still has protectors up to today.
In fact, that's not true.
So this white BMW that's following your vehicle, it's a state vehicle. Who are these people?
Just to add what he's saying, I mean, Sergeant Fanny Nkosi seen driving that white BMW is often seen with Mr. Sibiya.
So that's a convolution of facts where I fit in. I only fit in recently in borrowing the vehicle once the protectors and the vehicles were removed. I know nothing of what took place last year. I don't even know the Sergeant Nkosi. I think I've seen that BMW driven once or twice. And every camera footage that was displayed today did not have me inside that vehicle. I was not a part of that convoy. I am not a part of Shadrack Sibiya's security detail. I am not a member of SAPS. And General Khumalo is well aware of that fact.
So tell me something. If you're not part of Sibiya's entourage or body security detail, what were you doing at the ad hoc committee, sitting right behind him then?
So it's funny that you asked that question, because around my neck is a cord which General Khumalo displayed today, and he spoke about the accreditation. So on my accreditation cord, and it's recorded, it's written legal team. There is substantial evidence which I've given to General Sibiya pertaining to the operations of the PKTT, and I was assisting the legal team when he was giving
Whose
evidence.
legal team? General Sibiya's legal team.
General Sibiya's
But I mean, you would agree your proximity to Sibiya is quite concerning, given your criminal record and history as well.
Unfortunately, Pule, if something happens 15 years ago and your suspended sentence has lapsed, I was never sentenced to time imprisonment. I was never locked up, meaning the severity of the cases is not what was misled by General Khumalo today, because that plea and sentencing agreement was actually structured by the public prosecutor. So I'm not sure what he was trying to allude to. However, it's definitely not the way in which he's trying to portray it, as if I'm still an active member in a syndicate, as if I was ever a part of a syndicate, which is trying to paint with the same brush. Right
Are you saying to us clearly you're not General Sibiya's protector, you're not his bodyguard, and you're not involved within the security industry?
100%. 1,000%. Actually, I go on record and state that I've never been involved in security with General
So why
Shadrack
did you
Sibiya.
apply for SIRA accreditation?
I haven't applied for
But there are
SIRA
records of that showing.
We have evidence that you applied for SIRA accreditation and you were refused because of your criminal conviction. What's your response to that, Stuart?
When was that?
Tell you now.
In the meantime, while it still looks like-
your SIRA was rejected. It was, I even have a reference number here from SIRA, and it says renewal pending. So you probably had previous...
I'm putting it on. I'm putting it on record.
And it seems on multiple occasions
I'm putting
the
it on
application was
record, Yusuf.
rejected.
I put it on record. I've never been a member of the security industry. I've never applied to SIRA. I don't have SIRA documents. What would have taken place in that instance is if a company was meant to be registered and I was meant to be a part of the company, a
security company
like that would have tried to we would have applied, and if it was rejected, that's the end of the case.
Let me make 100% sure I understand what you're saying, Stuart. You offered General Sibiya your vehicle, correct?
At a cost, yes.
At a cost?
How much was it?
Oh.
So we were working on an average of about 60K, 70K per month to utilize a bulletproof vehicle. You must remember the bakkie that you saw is a B6 bulletproof vehicle.
And General Sibiya is paying you that fee?
That's what he has to pay in terms of what we had signed.
And how are the payments made? Was it in cash? Was it EFT?
So currently we haven't finished more than a month with the vehicle, but it should be via EFT.
And is he paying you for your services?
I have no services, Yusuf. You're asking me the same question, and I've explained I'm not a security guard. I don't have serial registration. I was not in the convoys. I was not a security person when I was at the ad hoc committee. In fact, I would form more part of the evidence team than an actual security guard.
Were you a card-carrying member of the ANC while in Richards Bay?
Yes.
And what were you doing? Did you engage in campaigns? Did you fund the councillors there?
No, I did engage in campaigns in the area.
Have you ever met a suspended Minister of Police?
No.
Do you know him?
No, I know of him because he's from the same area. Mpangeni and Richards Bay are literally 10 kilometers apart.
Are you still a card-carrying member of the ANC?
No.
When did your membership lapse?
I think it expired about 4 or 5 years ago, 3 years. I'm not too certain.
Stuart, are you saying to us clearly you're not a friend of General Sibiya, you're just an acquaintance and you have got a business deal with him? Is that correct?
No, let me put it clearly to you, Yusuf, and let's not try and speculate and take pieces from General Khumalo's testimony. I'm in front of you. I know General Sibiya for close to 3 years. He's assisted the community of Richards Bay as per General Ntlanhla Mkhwanazi's testimony about national intervention in those areas over the 3-year period we had discussed. When I saw the matter on TV being televised, that his protection, his firearms, as well as his vehicles had been taken, I saw it fit to assist. Where I could, I explained to him, I have the vehicle, you can loan it if you need to, hence the vehicle is still in my name. Because the vehicle is not sold to him, it is still my vehicle. And I'm coming out openly and transparently to say, that is my car.
Okay, just once again, do you dispute the evidence in front of the Madlanga Commission at the moment?
100%. The Madlanga Commission seems to be relying more on allegations, like this instance in particular, where a person who knows you will say he doesn't know you, where a person will then try and link you by grasping straws, knowing full well that what he's talking about is not true. General Khumalo has done this on more than one occasion, and I feel he's trying to cover his tracks because he's currently
What tracks
charged.
is he trying to cover?
The fact that he's been criminally charged and is currently appearing in court for the crimes he's committed.
Okay, so tell us here, now that you've disclosed your proximity to Sibiya, do you know Brown Mokhotsi?
I don't know Brown Mokhotsi. I've never seen Brown Mokhotsi. I've never spoken to Brown Mokhotsi in my life.
Are you friends to other senior cops, for the record?
Not necessarily. I haven't had an opportunity to meet other cops besides Fani Masimula. I've met him on 2 occasions, and I've met General Khumalo on numerous occasions. At his office, with his team, we've spoken many a times. He knows exactly who I am. And
in your 3 years as friends or as associates or comrades with Sibiya, you've never heard him speak about Brown Mokhotsi. I mean, the ad hoc committee does say that there was interaction with Brown Mokhotsi, so you've never seen him or heard about him.
In my opinion, what's being said and the linkages that they're trying to form are not really clearly defined from what I've seen. I've never seen Brown Mokhotsi at the house when I was there dropping off a vehicle or collecting a vehicle. I've never seen Brown Mokhotsi at his office. I've never heard him even speaking about or to Brown Mokhotsi from where I am, and all I can speak about is what I personally know.
There are calls this evening from especially some political parties calling for your immediate arrest. Total of 34 cases, General Khumalo says. 18 you were found guilty, 11 withdrawn, 5 you were found not guilty, including assault, GBH, car hijacking, theft of motor vehicles. What do you say to that, Stuart?
It's a joke. And the reason why it's a joke is because once a person's been charged and he served his time, the suspended sentence, and I've paid my fine, I'm as free as you two sitting here right now. In fact, I'm currently more free than General Khumalo. And if you are leaning on the fact that a person's been found guilty and he should be immediately arrested, I think you can also then ask the question about Julius Malema. I think you can ask the same question about Gauteng McKenzie, Kenny Kunene, and the list goes on. So it's not the first time that South Africans have seen people who have a criminal past that have paid the price sitting in Parliament. And that is not a crime in itself.
But Stuart, tell us, what would Khumalo go and lie under oath at the Commission? Do you have proof of what you're saying? Can you provide that evidence that you're telling us?
Are you talking about what was said today?
Yeah.
100%.
You've got records?
The records are there. In fact, General Khumalo is simply misleading the public in the mannerism in which he's reading the charges. And the number of charges that he's reading as well is not, he hasn't even gone as far as to explain to the public what the sentence was. For him to sit there and say, I don't know why he hasn't been in prison, is blatantly misleading the Commission. Because if you had to check on the SAPS system, where a conviction is found, the sentence is there on the same line. So for him to sit there and say he doesn't know what's taking place as the national head of crime intelligence is extremely
But he didn't say he doesn't know what
believe.
is taking place. He said the matters are still under investigation.
No, the cases itself and the time is closed.
Stuart,
If he's talking about investigating the links that he was trying to try and allude to today about the syndicates and Big Five, and well, he can investigate all he wants.
Stuart, there was an insinuation clearly before the committee today, the commission today, and also previously, that criminals and cartel members try to win over policemen so that they can get their way. He even insinuated that you are a member of a cartel involved in car hijacking, theft of motor vehicles, and you're close to General Sibiya. What does he tell you?
It tells you that General Khumalo is utilizing public platforms to tarnish the integrity of individuals while trying to run a kangaroo court instead of talking factual-based issues. If he knows I'm involved in a crime, and he is the head of crime intelligence nationally, he has all the right to charge me accordingly rather than tainting my integrity in public, specifically when it comes down to matters that have been closed more than a decade ago. However, if the public wants to be fooled by a person who continuously lies, then you should give us an equal opportunity to defend ourselves on the same platform, which we've then asked for. Immediately, while the evidence leader concluded evidence from General Khumalo, I then sent a WhatsApp directly to her to state, this gentleman has simply misled the commission right now. He knows who I am, and I would like to defend myself.
Wait, let's zoom into that. You say you sent a WhatsApp text message to which evidence leader?
Advocate Hassim, as well as Dr. Hos, or Peter Hos,
Yes.
as well as a guy by the name of Jeremy. I'm not too sure, I can't remember his surname.
Michaels, is the spokesperson.
Michaels.
So when did you send them the text messages?
I sent them this afternoon and early evening. I even tried to phone Dr. Peter Hos as well to say he must please advise what is the process and protocol for me to get an opportunity to defend myself.
Obviously, we're still in phase one of the commission, but what was their response to your text messages?
He issued me emails,
Who?
addresses, Dr. Peter Hos,
Okay.
and he said I should email him my inquiries or my concerns.
After today, are you planning to take your vehicle away from General Sibiya?
Not at all.
Why?
I see no crime that I've committed by borrowing.
Is he
a
paying you,
vehicle
you
to-
said?
Well, once the months go past, we'll have to see.
So how many payments have been made?
Nothing, because we haven't concluded a month yet.
Have
So,
you got-
so given the serious nature of the allegations, you still will not discontinue or distance yourself from it?
Look, Pule, I must put on record to the nation, I'm not a syndicate member. I'm not part of the Big Five cartel. I don't know any of these members that have been mentioned. However, I do know quite a bit about the killings that had taken place in KZN, and I'm hopeful and willing to testify in the ad hoc committee or the commission.
So just the crux of what would you want to speak about on the killings in KZN?
Well, it's an in-depth matter.
Just
It has
unpack it.
Let's just say a lot of people are being protected by members who portray themselves as saviors to the nation currently.
And who are these members?
Who will see as it unfolds.
And you're happy to share that with the Commission or the ad hoc committee?
100%.
When Pule asked you about the ad hoc committee, you said you went there as a member of the legal team, correct?
I was assisting with the evidence that was compiled by the legal team.
And you applied for accreditation, it was granted?
Yes, sir. And my accreditation was applied under the regulations of being a member of the legal team, not security, not a SAPS member. And General Khumalo could have easily checked that because the accreditation is actually issued by SAPS members.
But in retrospect, as we're sitting here, Stuart, are you not regretting that you have an association with General Sibiya and his credibility is now on the line?
Especially given the fact that we did see footage and what crime intelligence is trying to put together, the dots they're trying to connect, showing the links to the Cartel members, including the likes of Katiso Molefe and Vusi Musi Kat Matala as well. There are recordings where some of these Cartel members said that they made payments to Sibiya and it was cash as well.
Well, unfortunately, the public opinion versus evidence and factual truth are two different things. And I'm just simply speaking from my point of view on the matter. If a man says he gave you 10 million, surely there should be some sort of paper evidence that a person can portray. I mean, if you look at General Khumalo's testimony this morning, he spoke about the GCI ops being formed because witness A and B were in danger. Today he reveals the names, the surnames,
no,
and
he did not reveal. He did not reveal the names.
It was on the screen and it's recorded.
But he did not deliberately reveal the names.
He didn't deliberately, but he did.
The technical team projected the document and it appeared on the stream.
Okay,
so it wasn't a deliberate.
So those are people's lives at risk. And all I'm saying is, if you are the head of crime intelligence, there's an onus and responsibility for a lieutenant general to behave in a specific mannerism. And we don't see that happening currently.
I just want to pick up on one last question from my side, Stuart. You met General Sibiya in 2021, 22, you said?
Yes, sir.
And now recently. In between, were you all in regular contact, meeting each other, phoning each other?
So as I was explaining, when it comes down to matters, particularly murders, you find that the court cases run a number of years where people continuously speak about the matter. But in terms of meeting for breakfast and dinners and stuff like that, not at all.
And how many times have you been to his house?
I think maybe 3 times now recently with the vehicle on the drop-off, but
and before
that, not at all.
Okay, so when last did you interact with him? When last did you talk to him? We heard allegations that he was ill. In fact, he was admitted in hospital and therefore could not even attend to a disciplinary internal SAPS meeting or process that was meant to have him there.
Well, I'm not too sure about that. I'm sure you'd have to ask him about his well-being. But I spoke to him today, and we basically spoke about the testimony as it was unfolding. And we shared a laugh because we knew that General Khumalo is on a mission to taint as many people as he can with whatever mudslinging is at his disposal.
You spoke about your reputation being tarnished. Are you going to be taking legal action now?
Well, look, the first instance is to ensure that if we are afforded the opportunity to prove in front of the judges at the Madlanga Commission that in fact Khumalo's been lying, they will then set the precedent to charge him for perjury. We have been advised legally to wait and watch the space and plan accordingly, as we are currently also waiting for his documented affidavits.
But that doesn't make sense. Isn't it too little, too late? I mean, why not open a criminal charge against Khumalo if you believe that he is misleading the commission and obviously lying about your criminal record and the convictions as well?
So currently, we don't have his affidavit in hand, and we need the affidavit in hand for us to open up the case.
I just want to make sure on one point, Stuart. You have 18 convictions, 1-8, correct?
Yes, it's one case, it's 18 counts.
Are you saying that the 18 counts was before one magistrate or one judge?
Sir. One magistrate.
In the magistrate's court?
Yes, sir.
And it was car hijacking, motor vehicle theft, assault GBH, and what else?
No, that's not true. It was a series of car theft and fraud issues dealing with paperwork.
In all fairness, you purport to be a crime fighter.
Yes.
Do you believe justice has been served? Where somebody comes before a court of law with such serious charges, you don't even get a jail term. You get a suspended 5-year jail term.
Well, look, Yusuf, I think people need to understand that the magistrates and the prosecutors apply their minds to what's taken place. In this case in particular, over a 9-year period, there were a series of killings. A number of witnesses had passed on. And cops had actually killed other cops in this matter.
Your matter?
In the same matter that we are speaking about, which led to a number of people being freed, others being convicted, others had to be closed on the deals where wrongdoing was admitted. So it's not that it's just me in this matter or in this operation per se. There are a number of people, including SAPS members, that were involved in what had taken place over that time.
And 11 cases were withdrawn. What were those cases, Stuart?
So what happens is, say for instance you initially charged and they want to charge you with 15 different crimes. And when you have a pre-trial conference, it's then discussed between your legal team and the prosecutors that for successful prosecution, these would work and these wouldn't. And then they are withdrawn accordingly. It's not to say that the majority of those withdrawals happened simultaneously. Some happened on different times. Others would be misunderstandings where people would make a case and then you'd have to defend yourself. And if the state feels that they don't have enough evidence, rather than wasting the court's time, they would withdraw the charge.
We know what happened to Boy Mokhotsi yesterday, whether it was an alleged attempted assassination or an assassination. We know many of the witnesses are living in fear. As you sit here tonight, are you scared? Are you afraid?
Well, look, the scary part is that we've left people who are criminally charged in charge of state resources. When you talk about crime intelligence, as we know with the Sindiso Makaka murder, those murders were carried out by members of crime intelligence, utilizing crime intelligence firearms as well as the vehicles. We understand the modus operandi of the PKTT and what's been taking place. So I have already decided to live my life as a person who's dead already. The truth has to come out because currently we're fighting for the soul of this country in case the public hasn't noticed it.
And you're saying for now you're currently in consultation with your legal team to ensure that they speedily get you as part of phase 2 of those who will be testifying at the commission?
Unfortunately, Pule, even the legal teams, more than one that we've spoken to, are venting their frustration in terms of getting documents on time, their applications being heard, and actually getting a slot to defend themselves. So I wouldn't bet my last dollar on it. However, I am available and I am more than willing to testify on the ad hoc committee, as well as for the Madlanga Commission, particularly about the killings in KZN.
I have to ask you, we know that search and seizure warrants are being issued left, right and center. They're probably going to come for you, but in that event, before that, are you even volunteering to hand over your devices to the police if they want to see it?
100%, Yusuf. And you know, I'm coming out on air transparently saying, General Khumalo knows me. He has my number. He's known me for a number of years. He didn't identify me only via CCTV footage and on seeing me on TV with the ad hoc committee. If there's anything that they need from me, I will gladly hand myself over. I will gladly hand my devices over because we know that that's their modus operandi to send the task force, the National Intervention Unit, as well as crime intelligence, like what we saw for General
And have you had
Sibiya's
dealings
house.
with General Makhonazi?
Never in my life.
Never met him?
Never met him in
So
my
you
life.
say General Khumalo has your number. Do you communicate on a weekly basis, or do you chat? Or what's the process there?
We haven't spoken.
And how long?
In a number of years since the Potchefstroom, the Northwest incident had taken place.
And just tell us about that incident there.
I can't divulge too
Why
much
not?
because it most probably will come out in that. The case was withdrawn though.
But give us a teaser. You just said you're transparent. Tell us what happened.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the Northwest matter is the issue of the illegal mining that had taken place. There was some information that was given to crime intelligence nationally that was intertwined with the Stilfontein killings in that shaft with Tiger. And the information wasn't acted on. And at that point, that was our departure point in terms of assisting where you can assist to that degree, and that's where we split ways.
Just quickly, Richards Bay. We know that before the ad hoc committee and the commission, I think there were suggestions that the task force was deployed to Richards Bay. Were you involved in the deployment? What was your involvement there?
Well, look, I'm extremely aware that National had deployed, particularly within the Richards Bay jurisdiction. I'm well aware that they had to override the province because there was rumors that were going around, allegations that people are being protected by the province and the provincial commissioner's team. I'm not privy to that information. However, it had surfaced on numerous platforms within the CPF meetings. Hence, National was then called upon to assist.
Yeah, but I mean, this is concerning, Stuart. I mean, you're in possession of so much crime intelligence. It's just an ordinary citizen.
Why would you say that's crime intelligence?
I mean, the operations, from what we heard, some were even private and coveted as well.
Maybe you've been misled. When they deploy, they come to the local police stations. There's usually a commander that meets the CPF, which is the Community Policing Forum members. They put it onto group chats in the areas where we are, and operations are assisted by the locals in any sphere of police activity.
And you're saying Sibiya is not feeding you any intel?
Not at all. In fact, our discussions are not around anything else pertaining to what we had discussed in the past and what was taking place.
So you just discussed laugh and that's it?
We discussed the cases that we had discussed when I met him initially.
Which cases are these?
As I've explained to you, it's got to do with the murders that took place in the Richards Bay area.
But why must these cases be discussed with you? You're not a member of SAPS.
As part of the business community, and we were being affected by the murders.
I want to take you back to the Northwest because that province featured in the testimony of Witness B, if I'm not mistaken, saying that members of the Big Five cartel were operating there, and that she made reference to the fact that the EFF president, Julius Malema, obviously is close to the suspended National Deputy Commissioner, who's close to other businessmen in the Northwest who were doing some mining activities there, who's also close to the late Chotan Mswazi. He was a taxi boss in Pretoria, also very close to Kat Matlala, who, by the way, told Sibiya that once Msibi is late, he will begin taking care of Sibiya as well. So just tell us more about that, if you know it.
I'd like to put my input in that. However, this broken telephone game that you are playing,
I stopped me playing, I'm just saying.
Long.
Yeah.
I mean, he said, she said, they said, they said. So I'm not privy to who said what to who when they said that, and I've got nothing to comment about that because hearsay is exactly that, particularly when you're talking about a tenfold hearsay incident, Pule. I don't know any of these people. I don't know what they're talking about. I was never there. I didn't see anything. I'm here to speak about the allegations made against me by General Khumalo, which were extremely misleading to the Commission, particularly about him knowing me and knowing that I'm not a SAPS member, knowing that I'm not a bodyguard, and he's known me for a number of years.
And you're looking forward to going to the Madlanga Commission?
Well, if they afford me an opportunity, I definitely will avail myself.
Okay.
As we've just heard in Stuart James Scharnick's own words, this interview provides a counter-narrative to the damning testimony at the Madlanga Commission. To wrap up, let's analyze the key points raised, examining their implications without extending into speculation. given the ongoing nature of the inquiry. First, Scharnick firmly denies serving as Sibiya's bodyguard, framing their relationship as a mere acquaintance rather than a close alliance. This directly challenges Khumalo's portrayal of him as a personal protector, suggesting the Commission's evidence may rely on assumptions about proximity rather than concrete proof of misconduct. On how they connected, Scharnick explains meeting Sibiya around 2021 through community policing forums in Richards Bay. He claims to have provided intelligence on local murders, such as the Richards Bay family killings, bypassing standard channels due to fears of leaks and informant deaths. This raises questions about systemic issues in police intelligence. If true, it highlights vulnerabilities in information handling that the Commission is tasked to address. Regarding the Toyota Hilux vehicle, Scharnick admits to lending it to Sibiya, but contextualizes it as a gesture of support during Sibiya's suspension, when official protection and transport were withdrawn. He emphasizes it was for family safety amid perceived threats from the provincial KwaZulu-Natal Task Team, PKTT, denying any role in driving or escorting Sibiya. This detail could indicate personal vulnerabilities for suspended officers, but also invites scrutiny over why a civilian with a criminal past would step in. Scharnick addresses his criminal record head-on, acknowledging the convictions, mostly from 2010 to 2012, but notes they predate his association with Sibiya and that he has paid his debt to society. While this doesn't erase the history, it underscores the timeline, potentially weakening links to current allegations of cartel involvement. Additional insights include Scharnick's mention of Sibiya's role in resolving Richards Bay issues through national and presidential intervention, portraying Sibiya as an effective leader against crime. He also discloses his past ANC membership in Richards Bay, which lapsed about 4 years ago, adding a political layer to the narrative. Overall, Scharnick's responses aim to humanize his involvement and redirect focus to broader police dysfunctions, like leaked operations and cartel protections. However, without cross-examination at the Commission, these claims remain one side of a multifaceted story. As the Madlanga inquiry continues, they underscore the need for transparency and accountability in South Africa's fight against internal corruption. What do you think? Does this change your view? Who do you believe? Share in the comments below. Watch the video on your left to see how a cartel member sat right behind General Sibiya at the ad hoc committee and nobody knew. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell. Until next time.